around 30 degrees, high winds that are not good. People were expecting a massive answer when it came to this year's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, although there was a threat 2 years ago, but this year had a potential stronger wind threat. And the question was, were the balloons going to be able to fly? And sure enough, they did. No removals and no major accidents, except for Spider-Man's arm being torn. This is also a very historical occasion, because the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah was around the American holiday season of Thanksgiving, the first time since 1888, as it was the second day of the holiday on November 28th, and this won't happen until another 78,000 years later. So the Jewish Americans got to celebrate two holidays in one. As for the parade itself, it did mark the end of Milton DeLuck as the parade's official musical director. He would pass away 2 years later on April 6, 2015 at the age of 96, with Ray Chu taking the position from next year onwards. Speaking of music, we got another 26 songs here. This is my ranking of the songs of the 2013 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Number 26, Allelujah by the Cherokee National Youth Choir. For their second parade, the Cherokee National Youth Choir from Oklahoma make their second parade after being in the 2007 parade. Now 5 years later, they perform solely for this year's parade, a rendition of Allelujah. Not the church hymn, the Cherokee native one, I believe, because with this being very quick and not knowing which version of Allelujah it is, it's sort of forgettable. I do have the nostalgia of them with their rendition of Jingle Bells back in 2007, not this. Also, why do they keep waving their hands throughout their entire performance? Number 25, Raise You Up and Just Be by the cast of Broadway's Kinky Boots. Time for a drag queen and guys wearing high-heeled boots, as this year's Tony Award winner for Best Musical of 2013, based on the 2005 film Kinky Boots, with the book written by Harvey Fierstein and songs written by Cyndi Lauper. The cast performs the final number of the show, Raise You Up and Just Be, which both are in the cast recording album as track number 15. So two numbers in one, both got on the same track. I'm glad it wasn't separated. However, the songs themselves are not that great. They're not terrible, it's just that Raise You Up is basically like a fashion show if you take out of context. Just Be, I wish there was more lyrics to it because that part is so good. Combining the two around 6 minutes doesn't work. I also felt mixed with the parade. Now, I have heard the parade has gotten some major criticism for this performance, as parents say that it was too inappropriate for a family-friendly event, which is mostly the costumes. I can agree with one and maybe two, but the others are fine, with Lola being the best one in terms of the outfits. Number 24, Merry Christmas Darling by Megan Hilty. A songwriter named Jim Brickman released his 33rd or 34th or 35th album called The Magic of Christmas. However, he doesn't sing, so in some of his songs, a recording artist would come in and sing it for him. For this song, track number 14, Merry Christmas Darling, was performed by Broadway and NBC star of shows such as Smash and Sean Saves the World, Megan Hilty, as she was supposed to be the final celebrity roster in the parade. More on that later. It's such a calm song to tell you that Christmas is here, and Megan's voice really fits into it, mainly in the parade, of what I said of where the lyrics were chosen. What would have been a great conclusion to the song roster? It was not forgettable. For some reason, I kept thinking of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas in this, but if it is a slow dance Christmas song at a party, and since this is Jim Brickman's song, why can't you have him on the float with Megan, as it is his song, or he should have been in the parade like playing the piano or another instrument to join with her. Number 23, I Wish by Cher Lloyd. From being a contestant on the UK version of The X Factor in 2010, now at 20 years old, British singer Cher Lloyd released her single I Wish, which would become track number 3 of her upcoming second album, Sorry I'm Late. I'm kind of a bit divisive with this song. There's nothing wrong with the lyrics, I think the music is an issue. Also, maybe her voice, I would say, because if you have heard a lot of British artists, you can't hear their British accents. But this song, I heard Cher's accent, especially the word blind, in the song. There is also a featured artist in this, which is rapper T.I., But like always, having a featured artist kind of hurts it in the ranking without them in the parade together. Speaking of which, I don't know if she was singing this live or not, cause you can hear the echo since her vocals are different in the song, but the main verse, you can hear the main version of the song. Kind of like the Want Us performance I Found You from last year, but re-recorded instead of an echo. Maybe in her moment when the Hess Corporation float probably tells us she did it live, but if we had the camera close up to her, I think it would have been more true. Number 22. Get Ready and Dancing in the Street by the cast of Broadway's Motown the Musical. Starting up the song roster, we go into jukebox territory with the cast of our first Broadway performance, Motown the Musical, performing songs from well-known artists as they begin by performing The Temptations' Get Ready and Martha and the Vandellas' Dancing in the Street, as both track number 2 on the cast recording album. Similar to Kinky Boots, I think one number is better than the other. Ironically, it's the longer one with Dancing in the Street, and not Get Ready, but I wouldn't say not by much for the former. I think this is one of the weaker renditions of the song that we have heard in the parade. We have talked about this song before with America Sings performance back in 1997 at the beginning of the series, and we have another one 4 years ahead of us. I think jukebox musicals is probably not my thing, I'm guessing. Even the parade wasn't really a standout. Number 21. Corner of the Sky and Magic by the cast of Broadway's Pippin. 41 years later, the Stephen Schwartz musical Pippin made its return to Broadway for its first revival, featuring some well-known names like Bettina Miller, Andrea Martin, Rachel Bay Jones, and Terrence Mann, with Matthew James Thomas as Pippin, as the cast of the 2013 Tony Award winner for Best Revival of a Musical performs the first 2 numbers of the show in reverse, Corner of the Sky by the title character, and Magic led by the leading player of a performance troupe. I'd rather wish we had the correct version by doing Magic first, although the number in the parade is fine, and to highlight the rest of the cast, I feel like they should have just stick with Corner in the Sky. It would have not been the first time to only have one person from a Broadway cast to perform a number in the parade, because Corner of the Sky is such a beautiful number. I wonder if the song Go the Distance from Disney's Hercules might have got some inspiration with this song. And with the Broadway performance interacting with the audience is quite a rarity. I know the Tonys did this as well, so this is not the first time we are seeing this way. Just comparing to the two, Magic doesn't stand out, let alone being a 4-minute number, even if it does it better in the parade. Number 20, Theme from New York, New York by Kristin Chenoweth. Returning for her 4th time in the Macy's parade, Broadway star Kristin Chenoweth takes it all in this time with the state's iconic anthem, Theme from New York, New York. It's quite a rarity to hear this song in the parade. I think the last time it was performed, I'm guessing, was in 1983 with Vanessa Williams. Now Chenoweth takes the realms with this night's rendition. It's just being a parade exclusive and kind of other words being in the song, and the tone in a Broadway style is a bit odd to me. This is better than her rendition of the Christmas Waltz back in 2008, but not as good as her rendition of Oklahoma back in 2005. Obviously, no one tops Frank Sinatra's rendition of the song, of course. Although we will see her again 2 years with the cast of an NBC Live event, she was supposed to perform back in the 2021 parade, as she was mentioned in the beginning of that year's broadcast, but she wasn't there. Reason is still unknown as of 2023. Number 19, Better Together by Fifth Harmony. From being 3rd place on the 2nd season of the American version of The X Factor back in 2012, 5 girls, 2 of which went bigger with Ally Brooke and Camille Cabello, named Fifth Harmony, had released their first extended play with their first recorded 5 songs, if I'm correct, by performing track number 3, the title song of their EP, Better Together. Continuing on how I would say weak this year was, I will explain that a little bit later, this was not a good song choice for Fifth Harmony. Other than the main verse, it's just how they are all together as a group. Well, say that to Camilla about 3 years from now. Although it's not that high, it's a little bit higher than Not in like the bottom territory, even though it still kind of is, because it's a little bit more memorable on how one of the members of the group, Ally Brooke, would be participating in the parade for 2 other years in the future. Speaking of which, the parade was very odd. It's just like the first 50 seconds of the song since they were going into a commercial break. Number 18, Favorite Time of Year from Jessie by Debbie Ryan. After making her debut on The Sweet Life on Deck, Debbie Ryan went on to star in her own Disney Channel show called Jessie as a nanny for a rich family in where else? In New York City. This year, the show had a Christmas crossover with another Disney Channel show, Good Luck Charlie, as she performs in the episode Favorite Time of Year, which ends up on the compilation album Disney's Holidays Unwrapped as track number 3. This was around the time that I faded out of Disney Channel because, of course, I was getting older. Although it does have that Disney Channel style in this song, and it works so well being more of an electronic song. Maybe her singing was just okay. I loved her performance in the parade and how happy she was and maybe a bit attracted here. Unfortunately, the album was a Target exclusive and later added on Apple Music and Spotify, but not stuff like iTunes. Number 17, Last Christmas by Ariana Grande. Like Debbie Ryan for Disney Channel, Ariana Grande went big on Nickelodeon from Victorious to her own spin-off show with Jeanette McCurdy called Sam and Cat, and now in the beginning stages of her as an artist with her first album, as well as her first EP, which is a Christmas extended play record, Christmas Kisses, with her rendition of Last Christmas, which is the first track of the EP. I do really like her rendition as it does show where her career was about to change from a television actress to a recording artist, with her iconic and lovely voice with the sounding of the bells throughout the entire song. It is better than the original version by Wham, but I still think Ashley Tisdale still has the best cover. Number 16, Ain't No Chimneys in the Project by Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. Since 1996, soul singer Sharon Jones has been entertaining the music industry with her feeling of the music with her band, the Dap Kings. Back in 2009, she and her band released a single Christmas song that would be performed this year and would later be added in their Christmas and 6th album, It's a Holiday Soul Party, I believe it was in 2015 if I'm correct, as track number 2, Ain't No Chimneys in the Project. Now we're getting into some good territory here with these songs on this ranking. The Dap Kings music just had that classic style that feels like it belongs on the radio during the 24/7 Christmas music. A very quick, excellent pace and great lyrics brings in one of the most original modern Christmas songs of the 21st century. Sharon's voice also brings the spotlight with her backup vocals. It is unfortunate she would pass away about 3 years later on November 18, 2016 at the age of 60, because her soul is in the Christmas spirit with her band still there. Number 15, 16 Going on 17 by the cast of NBC's The Sound of Music Live. This year, NBC wanted to try to do something different that hasn't been done in a while. A live telecast of a musical featuring some well-known celebrities. Their first one was on The Sound of Music, with American Idol winner Carrie Underwood taking the helm as Maria Von Trapp. And since the parade airs on NBC, why not show a preview performance of the televised event? Originally, it was supposed to be a medley of 3 numbers, with Carrie actually performing it with the title song, The Sound of Music, Do Re Mi with the Trapped Children, and the one that got to perform, 16 Going on 17 by stars Ariana Reinhardt and Michael Capobianco, which is track number 6 on the soundtrack of the event. There is no official reason why only one was performed instead of the other 2, as it was evident through a couple of photos and videos of rehearsals at Herald Square, but instead, Carrie was interviewed by Matt Lauer and Savannah Guthrie instead of performing. The event was very mixed, and even the living members of the Von Trapp family disapprove of having a recording artist who doesn't know how to act taking the helms of being a lead in a stage musical. Having just the 2 at Herald Square without the other numbers actually worked better than what was originally planned. Sure, without having any props minus the bicycle didn't do so much on the setting of the number, the music and the vocals keeps it away from being uninteresting. Both Ariana and Michael did so well on their vocal points that you do sing along to some parts of the song, and it is nice to have at least 1 or 2 people in a Broadway performance, even if this is not on Broadway. In the parade, I wish Pippin would have done that. Number 14, Lightning in a Bottle by the Somerset. We're going to explicit territory here, not in the parade, but the song, as this year's Macy's iHeartRadio Rising Star Contest winners goes to a punk-funk rock band or originated from Arizona called themselves the Somerset. They have released albums before, then their rise came by winning the contest and got to perform a clean version of their song Lightning in a Bottle from their 3rd album Legendary as track number 4. I throw my heart in the air, hearts in the air, don't even care about tomorrow. Which, that's the clean version of the lyric. I wasn't big on it many years ago, then in recent years it became more of a great upbeat party summer song, no pun intended. Coming back to their performance, I was getting so hyped, and I asked, why only the first 50 seconds? Couldn't they at least finished it? It was the clean version they were doing, not the explicit one. Number 13, Kindness Counts by the cast of Sprout. Chica and her friends, Denisha and Carly, along with Nina and Star from The Goodnight Show, join with their new friends of the Sunny Side Up show, Tim and Caitlin, as they all come together to sing a theme they had around this time on their channel, which is called as well, Kindness Counts. Like Squeaka Chica, the song was in a couple of their promos and online, but never a digital release, and as always, YouTube does not count. I do think this is better than last year's performance, and I would say it's my favorite performance by the cast of Sprout, and it's even better than the one you saw on TV. First, Nina and Star finally got a chance to sing, and getting each of them having their own part of the song, although minus the pump her up and kiss a frog part by Tim, which even Chica doesn't agree with that snot kindness, especially coming from a rookie host. I'm also questioning if this was live or not, because the echo we hear. They're not wearing any stage microphones, though. I know what I'm saying is not kind, it's just a criticism. Number 12, Naughty, Revolting Children, and When I Grow Up by the cast of Broadway's Matilda the Musical. From literature to the big screen to the theatrical stage, an adaptation of Roald Dahl's 1988 novel Matilda turned into a musical for the West End in 2011. 2 years later, it made it to Broadway, as the cast performs a medley of 4 numbers, Naughty with our titular character, Revolting Children with the rest of the children, When I Grow Up with one of the teachers, Miss Honey, and then a reprise of both When I Grow Up and Naughty at the end with all of them. And unlike Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Mary Poppins, there is a Broadway cast recording album instead of just the West End version alone. All 4 of the numbers do well each of their own. If I would rank them individually, I would have to go Revolting Children, When I Grow Up, Naughty, and then the When I Grow Up and Naughty reprise in the soundtrack. In the parade, it goes the reprise, When I Grow Up, Naughty, and Revolting Children. Minus Revolting Children, the other 3 numbers are re-recorded for this event. And I will say when I first saw this out of context back in 2013, I thought Miss Honey was actually Matilda as an adult. Nope, it's just a teacher. Minus how obvious the British accents comes into these performances from American actors, a medley of 4 numbers not only are somewhat better than the ones from Cinderella last year, but also brings us the best Broadway performance of 2013. Number 11, Banga Banga by Austin Mahone. Like Lightning in a Bottle, another song I wasn't big on when I first listened to it, a year later it made me like it more so than I thought. That's what YouTuber Austin Mahone comes in with Banga Banga, with his hit song single that was released earlier this month, with his stage microphone which looked better than Cody Simpson's last year, and officially ending off the backup dancers on this Build-A-Bear workshop float. This song is well great on being a single hit, on how you're singing along to it, and even dancing, and although I can't judge the music video on this ranking, I want to shout it out on how well the choreography was on that video. Only thing is that there were some lyrics that were changed for the parade. It's not an explicit song by all means, I just think NBC probably did a friendlier version. It also does come with a feature artist, a rapper named Sean Garrett, who is actually an uncredited vocalist of the song. He's the one that does the "you got your promise, you like riding, don't you" part, not Austin, so he's obviously lip-syncing to his part. Oh wait, everyone lip-syncs in the parade, never mind. Number 10, Cruise by Florida Georgia Line. 2 guys named Brian Kellie from Florida and Tyler Hubbard from Georgia made their rise in stardom in 2012 with one single song that became an iconic hit and later added in their debut album Here's to the Good Times as their first track. A year later, they performed their rising hit and everyone knows it as Cruise. Out of all the songs on this roster, this is definitely the most popular one. It does have that rock and roll country sound that I know a lot of people don't like and some that do. I think the parade is what kept them from being higher here. It is a great set of lyrics they did and good timing. I don't know if it was just my feelings didn't have that impact on me, unlike all the others. I do think putting this on the 10th spot was the most likely the right placement. It is an iconic song, it's just not in the parade for me. Number 9, Good King When Sails by Manheim Steamroller. Remember how I said that Megan Hilty was supposed to be the last guest in the celebrity roster for this year? Well, for their fourth and most recent parade, Manheim Steamroller rides on the Sandland Express that was originally supposed to be in between the Adventure Time and Buzz Lightyear balloon. However, like in 2008, the train broke down en route. And instead of being behind Santa, which that year delayed Andy Williams' performance, they managed to run it again after the Homewood Suites by Hilton float and before Macy's Great American Marching Band. So they instead closed the celebrity roster for their third year in a row with another song from their album Christmas, track number 5, Good King Whistles. It took me so many years to figure out what the song was until I think it was on the music track on YouTube because Matt Lauer did not said what the song was. This is not as good as Deck the Halls, though this is better than Silver Bells, and I think this was probably their best performance in the parade. Sure, all but 3 cowboy clowns left the train behind when it broke down, but I think it is a better ending to the song roster more so than Merry Christmas, Darling. Number 8. Don't Ya by Brett Eldridge. After some single hits, country singer Brett Eldridge makes his album debut, Bring You Back, and performs one of his biggest single hits that would become track number 2, his 2012 hit, Don't Ya. Similar to Cruise, this is another song that my feelings didn't have that impact, this time in reverse, the song itself. It does have great lyrics, it's just I wouldn't go back to listening to it often, something I forgot to mention with Cruise as well. The parade does it better on what sets of the song they did, especially the end part, and something I didn't mention about the last episode, is it just me or is it odd to have an artist singing a regular song on a Christmas theme float? Don't worry, Brent has something Christmas related when he comes back. Number 7. Any Weather by Joan Jet and the Blackhearts. You all know her for her hit song I Love Rock and Roll. Well, today, Joan Jet and her band, the Blackhearts, come to Rock and Roll Today, not performing their hit, instead performing Any Weather, which is the first track of their 12th album, Unvanished. Can I just say, this is better than I Love Rock and Roll? That's just because I hear that song so many times on the radio. I will say she still has that rock spirit since 1975 and still going strong with this album. That was also cool to have those Spirit of America cheerleaders around the pep rally float again like in 2007. Although I have the nostalgic for Neo's Go On Girl, this makes more sense of who should be on this float, rock artists. But I gotta ask, where are the Blackhearts' instruments? Just a long Congo drum and a snare drum with no sticks? Where's the drum sets and where are the guitars? They are a rock band. Guessing there was no room for those instruments on that float. Number 6. One Song by Titus Burgess and Beverly Staunton. After 25 years of SeaWorld's involvement in the Macy's Parade, they made their comeback to celebrate their 50th anniversary with an all-new float, and for the occasion, Broadway star Titus Burgess and Dancing with the Stars' Beverly Staunton performs a song from one of SeaWorld's shows, One Song, with the Manhattan Youth Ballet. Before I begin, I know that SeaWorld's appearance for this year and next year did spark some controversy with protests going on, especially since this was also the same year that a documentary was released on how they captive orcas that led into some deaths. I'm just judging on the song alone, not on a full support with SeaWorld, and I will say the main version of the song is alright, but the parade performance on having 2 celebrities singing it is way better. It is unfortunate that this version is not in any of SeaWorld's soundtracks. Their voices really feel like you want to go see SeaWorld, if there is actual magic there, which kind of not. And with having voices of kids doing the na 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 part, especially at the end when the float is moving, I really like that. Number 5. Somebody Come and Play by Jimmy Fallon, The Roots, and the cast of Sesame Street. Here's something that you never thought you would see in the Macy's Parade. A crossover performance with the cast of Sesame Street. Sure, we saw this with Long Long in 2008, but we're talking about a crossover with another show specifically. With the new host of NBC's The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon and his band The Roots joins with the cast of Muppets to perform the 1970 classic Somebody Come and Play, with Fallon, The Roots, and the human cast playing with classroom instruments, something that Fallon and his band did throughout that year. This is my favorite Sesame Street performance of this decade. Jimmy does have a great friendship with Sesame Street, and showing that even adult celebrities guest starred on the show are not afraid to come and play with their pals from the most famous street in the parade, even if many adults nowadays still think it's just for kids. A lot of things going on with this performance. I think this is Straight Trotter's best rap in the parade for me, with those classroom instruments being the music here, making a good connection to his rap, and even Big Bird's movements can you imitate throughout that entirety of his rap. This and the rendition of the theme for the spin-off show, Play With Me Sesame, are battling in and out of which is my favorite rendition of this song, and I can't answer that. Not even Oscar will help me out on this. Number 4, Come To Me by the Goo Goo Dolls. Since 1986, Buffalo, New York rockers the Goo Goo Dolls have been entertaining the music industry for 4 decades, and now they've finally come to the Macy's Parade to perform their single hit that would become track number 5 from their 10th album, Magnetic, Come To Me. The album did receive some mixed reviews, but hey, that's how sometimes the song becomes better than the album on its own. The calmness, love tone, and the nature feeling you have they wrote this song was so lovely. I am a fan of the main verse and that do part. The parade is fine, it does have an audio difference compared to the main version, but I do miss those days where the performance starts when the float is entering into Herald Square. Number 3, Alone Together by Fall Out Boy. I am familiar with Fall Out Boy, specifically the song Thanks for the Memories. Now, with their 5th album, Save Rock and Roll, they performed track number 3 that got a single release, Alone Together. The parade is fine, it does have a great use of the song, and although you can't see Patrick Stump's eyes with his sunglasses, he is really singing from the top of his lungs, although he's not. I think they should have just finished with the part of the float as if it was moving. Man, this song I've been getting more used to liking recently. Just how catchy it is, and you can sing along to a lot of the lyrics, especially the main verse, that say yeah, Number 2, Little Bit Gypsy by Kellie Pickler. Ever since her appearance in American Idol Season 5, like Katharine McPhee, country singer Kellie Pickler's career went into a bigger career, and now in 2013, she performs her hit single Little Bit Gypsy, which becomes track number 1 of her highly acclaimed 4th and most recent album as of 2023, The Woman I Am. I will be honest, I was not a big fan of the song when I first heard this 10 years ago. I think it was just some of that rock instruments being part of this threw me off. Because I thought at 13, that's not country music, I know. Well, since we've gotten used to that, it's kind of been a thing for decades, and I really enjoyed it more so than I thought. Makes me kind of move my body here. Even the parade did great with its performance on having close to like 90 seconds of the song, and although the float was moving a little too early, her red dress did look nice, but I wouldn't say for a 30-degree temperature in New York City. Ironically, one of the lyrics of her song, Going Where the Wind Blows, fits in today's windy parade. And my number 1 song from the 2013 Macy's Parade is Make a Move by Gavin DeGraw. 9 years after he performs his popular hit, I Don't Want to Be in 2004, Gavin DeGraw returns to the Macy's Parade to start the song roster in the parade as he performs the title song of his 5th album, track number 2 that got a single release this month, Make a Move. I will say there's not a lot of passion I have for this song now. I still liked it. I do sing along to the main verse. I think is that there are times I keep thinking the song's about to end, but it's not. Also, I think they should have done the first set of his song to make a complete performance in the parade. One thing I haven't mentioned in the beginning of this episode that I kind of mentioned a little bit in Fifth Harmony that I will mention now, back then and for some years later, I think 2013 was a pretty weak year for songs. It is better than 2005, I will say that. It's just that a lot of the songs were too generic, I would say. Although I have appreciated more of some of these songs 10 years later, if there was one song I did consider the only one I liked back then, was this song. With this being the center out of all the ones 10 years ago, it still marks as the best song of 2013. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, you can hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment down below your personal ranking of these 26 songs. Oh boy, I can't wait to talk about the next year because this became not also one of my favorite Thanksgivings, but a parade that I consider to be something great. The songs will tell you why. as we go into a white Thanksgiving, well, not really, somewhat in New York City, I would say, if you get my meaning, with 2014.